Hi, and welcome to yet another true crime live stream by yours truly, as you see. Um, can you guys actually guess which country, not country, which century is the case I'll be covering today from? Like, I'll give you a hint. I swear I am not obsessed with that century, but like, it has some good stories. Like, go on, try it. Seriously, try guessing. Like, you know, um, I've covered like a few cases from that century, and I swear, like I promise you, I'm not obsessed, but you just can't, you just can't make this shit up, like that century just had so many of those cases. Um, no, no one. Okay, let me tell you, 1800s. Here we go again. Okay, give me a moment. I'm gonna switch to murder board. Hi, hi. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, let's switch to the murder board. Okay, so first, a disclaimer. Some viewers may find the following content highly disturbing and controversial, so, viewer discretion is advised. This story I've got for you today is about vampires, so you've been warned. Hi, Binji! Oh god, thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, Middle Ages, kind of. Well, 1800s, so yeah, that's, close enough. Okay, so as I said, the story I've got for you today is about vampires, and yes, you heard me right. There was an actual vampire incident in the history in the history of 19th century America. And it definitely did not involve any creatures, I don't know, like, Twilight or TVD, not any creatures that, with skin shining bright like a diamond, none of that. That's not the case. Um, in today's modern world, vampires are deemed a creation of fiction. Let me just, a creation of fiction, mostly seen in the literature and folklore. But this story is most certainly not one of them. Admittedly, in the 19th century, there was much that science did not explain, and people didn't understand. People simply didn't understand what was happening. So this unfortunate case. This unfortunate case could have a reasonable explanation, and I think it does. However, it does remain unsolved to this day officially. Okay, so let me just switch. This is the story of Mercy Brown, and whether or not she was a vampire. As you may or may not know, 19th century was not kind to people when it comes to infectious diseases, because tuberculosis was like on full blast, and it took countless lives. One common symptom was major weight loss, and as if that illness was kind of sucking life out of you, which was one of the reasons the disease was commonly called, quote, the consumption. At the time, there was little to basically no information and no treatment for the condition, so people had multiple, like, different assumptions. Okay, so in Rhode Island, in a town called Exeter, I think Exeter, there was a family who got struck with the disease one by one. Okay. So the family was, it was the Brown's family. George and Mary Brown's family suffered a sequence of tuberculosis infections in the 1880s and 90s. First, Mary Eliza Brown, the mother of the family, was the first one to die of the disease in the around 1880s. It's not specified when she actually died. Followed by her eldest daughter, Mary Olive, in 1890. Oh god, I'm just so used to saying like 1990s. But Mary Olive died in 1886. And the last one to die was the family's younger daughter, Mercy, who passed away in January 1892. Then the Brown's son, Edwin, contracted the disease in 1890 or 91, but he didn't die. He was just very sick. Okay, wait. This is the first time watching your mystery stream. Oh, well, I mean, then, yeah, that's your mystery true crime stream christening. Okay, but let's continue. So, Edwin contracts the disease, but doesn't die. He's very sick, and obviously his father, after having lost his wife and 2 of his daughters, he's desperate to save him, you know, like he takes him around to different hospitals, to see different doctors, specialists, anyone who could help him, who could sorry, God, I can't English. I'm actually a little bit nervous because it's been a while. So, you know, George takes Edwin around to specialists, to doctors, anyone who could help him with the disease, but no one can help him because there's just no treatment. Oh, thank you so much for following. Yeah, so, you know, he's basically desperate. And he's trying to find a cure for Edwin to save him, because that's his only remaining family left. That's his only son. Like, how can he leave him to succumb to the disease? Meanwhile, rumors started spreading, like wildfire among friends and neighbors of the Brown family. And they believed, and that's gonna sound ridiculous, but they believed that one of the family members, the ones who, you know, who passed away, must have been a vampire or an undead. Though this name is not, like, it's not exactly used in this story. Like, officially, I think they used undead. But basically, the villagers, the townspeople, they believed that one of the deceased family members, they were a vampire or an undead person who caused others to fall ill and just basically sucked the life out of them. And okay, let me explain, because that's a little bit confusing, you know, like why when I was reading this story, I immediately just thought, like, why would they just come to this assumption? Like, why wouldn't you think, like, okay, you know, like that's just an infectious disease? But as I said, like, it was just not as like, the science was not as developed, you know. There weren't, like, a lot of people were just, like, you know, going into, sorry, I just kind of I don't know, my throat just locked or something. But basically, people would just go immediately to like folklore or superstitions, and as ridiculous as it sounds, you know, like, that's the explanation. In 19th century contemporary folklore, it was sometimes believed that a sequence of deaths within one family in close time proximity essentially linked them to undead activity. So it would link them to one of the family members that was the source of, you know, the other deaths, basically. Now, if you heard this kind of, you know, bollocks today, you would call, you know, nice men in nice white uniforms to take away the person spreading these rumors. I mean, I sure would have. I would be like, well, I mean, this person is crazy. But the truth is, back then it wasn't perceived as an unreasonable assumption. And especially among, like, small villages, like, you know, small towns, when it's just like there's no access to maybe, like, more education, more science. So they believed in all sorts of superstitions. And wait for it, because the story gets crazier. And the next part, I cannot explain, like, why this person agreed to doing this. Okay, but basically what happened, after multiple discussions and, you know, constant pressure from the villagers, from the town, from, like, I don't know, like, doctors, for some ungodly reason, George Brown, so the father of the unfortunate family, he agreed to allow for, you know, his deceased loved ones, three people from his family, to be exhumed for further investigation, you know, on the assumption that one of them was a vampire. So that was the point, you know, like, they wanted to exhume his wife and his 2 daughters to basically, like, confirm, oh, one of them is a vampire. We just want to check which one is a vampire. So Like, why? And then, you know, on March 17th, 1892, townspeople, along with the local doctor and a newspaper reporter, they gathered to exhumed the 3 bodies. I don't know, like, yeah, yes, the press just had to make it into a Met Gala, basically. Like, I don't even understand. Like, see, I know it's sort of news, just like the recent, I don't know, like there was the recent exhumation of the Somerton man, who is unidentified. So they exhumed his body to check, you know, because science is like so much more advanced, and they figured, okay, we couldn't figure out who this person is back then, but now we can exhume him and try to figure it out again. So I understand that, you know, like, I don't know, like, you know, the Somerton man, like, he's a John Doe. Like, you're doing this to basically confirm his identity, or just like try to confirm it. But you know, this is just, I don't know, like that's an actual, they're not Jane Does, like they're actual local people who everyone knew. Mind you, one of them just died barely 2 months ago, because Mercy died in I think it was like January 1892, and this exhumation is happening on March 17th. So she died like just barely 2 months ago, which is like ridiculous. But I'm sorry, like I'm getting so worked up about this. But okay, so plus, like, there's another thing, mind you, like Mary Eliza, so the mother, and Mary Olive, the eldest daughter, they were actually buried underground. But Mercy, the youngest daughter, like, because she died in January, and which is winter in Rhode Island, she wasn't buried. Like, her body was put in a casket and it was kept in a crypt. Okay. Okay, I've got the crypt. So basically, her body was kept above the ground in the crypt, waiting for the, I don't know, for spring to come, for the ground to be softer. I don't know how to say it, like thawed. I'm not sure what the proper word is, but yeah, like they were just waiting for the ground to soften so that they can actually bury her. But you know, back to the story. So Mary Olive's body exhibited the, you know, accurate level of decomposition for the amount of time that passed since their death. But upon opening Mercy's casket, people were shocked to see that even after being dead for 2 months, her body did not really decompose. So there was almost no signs of decomposition. And okay, I'll stop here. You might think that, hey, this is probably because of different storing of the bodies and the fact that it was still technically winter, so the low temperature would have somehow preserved the body and prevented from decomposing, which, you know, I would agree with that. Like, I think that was the case. At least, like, when it comes to the, you know, the state of her body, you know, like, because she wasn't decomposed, she was kept in low temperatures above the ground in this crypt. It's basically like being put in a freezer, so I guess it makes sense, like, she didn't decompose as much. But there is more. So not only did Mercy's body not decompose, but also still had liquid blood in her heart and liver. Not only that, mind you, like, that's not the end. Her hair and her hair and her nails also seemed to have grown longer during that time. Also, her face, like, it's mentioned that her face was like flushed. So it just seemed like she looked alive, you know, she looked like she was only sleeping. And the last one, I don't know how true that is, but some witnesses claimed that the body also changed position in the casket. Which is like, what the fuck? I would be like, out of there. I would be, nope, no, it's okay. I'm good. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave this nice, nice crypt. Rest in peace. Just, bolt it up. I don't know. Block the entrance. Just don't, just make sure that this body does not leave this crypt. So, yeah, I mean, on the other hand, like, if you think about it, there's possibly a scientific explanation for all of those. And as much as I read, like, it's possible for the body, after death to still, like, have some jerk reactions. So maybe it's possible that she moved. Like, well, not she moved, but, like, her body moved in the casket. But, that unfortunately, oh, this is like a cutout from a newspaper from that time, basically, saying Rhode Island has vampires and like calling for people to believe in vampires, which is crazy. But okay, so the rumors and stories surrounding the Browns had already kind of spiraled out of control. And I mean, they went like really bananas on witness accounts, basically. So people started saying crazy things like, oh, they saw Mercy walking among the graves at the local cemetery, which we all know, I mean, let's face it, it's just baloney, but people believe that, like like as I showed you here, like they started printing these kind of like pamphlets and newspapers and like showing, calling people to actually like believe in this, believe that she was a vampire or she was undead, because they didn't use the vampire word, but like she, they God, it was just, yeah, that's crazy. Like, I can't imagine how easily people believe that. But yeah, then again, it's 18th century, so 19th century. Vampire witch or any type of unscientific thing. yeah, basically, like, if she was still alive, if she was the one surviving, like, people probably would have said, oh, it's a witch, she's a witch, let's just burn her at a stake. Like, that's a that was for every woman in that century. It was like, oh, you don't have a husband, a witch. Or, oh, you have I don't know, like, you can read, or you can do some math, witch. Everything was just basically witch. Okay, burn her, let's check her, let's, I don't know, waterboard her and confirm that she's not a witch. Zombie, yeah. 19th century zombie. I mean, essentially, yeah, undead. Like, that's what they were calling Mercy. She was undead, and she was, even though she was fucking in the fucking casket, like, she's very much dead. She's very much dead. She's not waking up. She's just like there, her poor body just desecrated, and and they are just standing over her with the like newspaper guy, describing everything. They're just like looking at her body, and is like, yeah, it's a vampire. She flushed a little bit, or her, I don't know, like, it seemed, I swear to God, I put her in a different position. It's just, it was ridiculous, like, really. But okay, let's go back to the story. But it's essentially, let me summarize this. 18th century, well, sorry, 1800s, ladies and gentlemen. No, it's 19th century. I always mix it up. Woman breathes, witch. That's how it was. Like, whenever I hear, like, I read some of the stories from like 18th century and 19th century, like, always, or like these kind of like unexplained stories, there was always like an aspect where it was like, everyone suspected she's a witch, and they wanted to burn her, or like, yeah, or drown her to see if she's gonna survive. And if she does, then yeah, let's kill her, let's burn her at a stake because she's a witch. If she doesn't survive, well, shit, our bad, like, my bad. Like, why? Okay, but back to the story. So as that's the ridiculous part, the ritual. So even Edwin, I didn't mention it before, but like, at one point the rumors got so crazy that even Edwin, so Mercy's brother, who was at the time suffering of the tuberculosis, he started saying that he saw Mary by his bed, or Mary in his Mercy. So he was saying, like, he started seeing Mercy in his dreams or by his bed and saw her trying to, like, he was just basically claiming, oh, she was trying to suck the blood and life out of me, which is like, what? Why? Betrayal. And I don't think also I don't think an account of a gravely ill and probably feverish person should be considered reliable here. Questionable definitely at most. But I mean, this whole story is just why is that your conclusion? Why would you just also like throwing your sister under the bus? Like, what the fuck, man? 19th century man, what the fuck? But okay, so the vampire story just continued, gained enough power for the local people to, yeah, and I'm serious here. They demanded that Mercy's body goes through a special ritual that would assure that she wouldn't rise from her grave again, and she would be purified and cleansed, and she would not be undead anymore. Which is like, why? To begin with, this is just so ridiculous. But onto the ritual. So, God, okay. So the people in the village demanded that Mercy's heart and liver, so the organs that, you know, in which blood, like liquid blood, was found. So basically they demanded that heart and liver were cut out of her body and burned at the nearby rock. Oh my god, okay, so this is the fucking most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, but they burned the heart and the liver, then took the ashes from those organs, and they were mixed with water and given to Edwin to drink as a tonic for his disease. What the fuck, people? That's probably like rule number 1 of how not to treat tuberculosis. Like, what the fuck? Don't freaking give them ashes of a certainly, like, I don't know. No, don't. Just recently deceased, an infected person, mind you. Like, why would you think that's why would you think that's a good idea to take the ashes of their heart? Like, I don't know, maybe also like to incinerate the body, human body. Like, you need very high temperatures to like kill every germs and like all the germs, and I don't know, like, and turn it into ash. I guess, I don't know, like they just burned it at a rock, like on a rock, and took whatever ashes there were and like mixed it and gave, yeah, like, hey man, drink, yeah. Drink. Well, no, not his wife, that was his sister. It's basically, you know, Edwin was the brother, but very, very healthy. Yeah, I agree. Like, this is like, what the frick. But yeah, they did that, you know. That was essentially what they did. They just, you know, this was done to supposedly stop the influence of the undead, and, you know, on the still living Edwin. So they were like, buddy, just drink these ashes mixed with water. Questionable, but, you know, what else? What other options do you have? There's no treatment. Like, just drink it and maybe you'll survive. Surprise, surprise. It didn't work. And Edwin died 2 months later. So their magical tonic did not work. I mean, what, like, why? Surprise, like, oh my god, gasp. Like, how could it be? Like, how could this miraculous tonic not work? So Mary's desecrated, oh sorry, not Mary's, I keep saying Mary because like her mom was called Mary, and her sister, her older sister, was called Mary, but she was called Mercy. Lana? No, shit, I forgot. What was wait. Was it Mercy? Oh, Lena, sorry. So Mercy's desecrated body was finally put to rest and buried along with her family. After pretty much digging it up, based on some supernatural juju, the local people believed, which is like, man, that's tough. Like, she must have been, I don't know, if ghosts exist, she must have been like standing by them and just like face palming all this fucking time, just saying, what a fucking idiots. Like, why would you do that? Like, just leave this body be. Like, I don't care, I'm a ghost, but like, holy fuck, dude. But okay, so listen, I don't know. I know this happened in the 1800s, and they were just full of what the fuck stories to begin with. Um, Science sucked and offered pretty much no explanation for tuberculosis or any infectious diseases symptoms. So no wonder that. Also, like, mind you, in the 1800s, 19th century, there was like another ridiculous thing that people believed, and it was basically like any woman suffering from tuberculosis had, you know, like because the kind of characteristic of being infected with or like suffering from tuberculosis was basically like, oh, your skin was pale, you were very skinny because you've lost a lot of weight, you had lack of appetite, you were just very frail and weak. And this is like great, I'm loving this concept. But basically people, if a woman just like fell ill with tuberculosis, they would be like, oh my god, she's so frail, oh, she's so beautiful. Like they thought this was attractive, you know, someone dying of tuberculosis, a woman dying of tuberculosis was attractive because she was so fragile and so frail, and like, oh my god, we have to take care of her. And not like there was often oftentimes like suitors would just come like when the lady was sick down with like fever and tuberculosis and like, I don't know, like coughing out blood or something. They would just like line up, like admirers would just line up because she's so frail, she's so beautiful, you know. I don't know. it was just so ridiculous. Like that was considered attractive sometimes. But yeah, I mean, and on the other hand, it was like often like, I don't know, sometimes it would be pinned to some like mystic evil powers, since there was just basically nothing else that they could hold on to. I don't know, like as I said, there was just not enough science for this, and they would just be like, you know what, like we're gonna turn to this superstition or like this supernatural theory that nowadays it would be just ridiculous. But you know, Mercy Brown's story is very tragic. Even after death, she couldn't really rest. But ironically enough, like interestingly enough, Mercy Brown's story, or rather her legend, the Rhode Island vampire or New England's vampire, continued to live on, and it was being retold and influenced very prominent writers like Bram Stoker and H.P. Lovecraft. And you might have seen this movie, Stoker's novel titled Dracula, and the movie based on it. Like basically, like, I'm sure that a lot of you might have seen this movie or read the book or heard about it. But yeah, Mercy Brown's story like heavily inspired the character of Lucy Westenra. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but yeah. What? Beauty is on the inside. Hers is currently all over the floor. Oh my god. Oh, that's so true. Oh my god. Oh god. Okay, yeah. But as I said, like Mercy's story just influenced a lot of characters, and not only Dracula's Lucy, but also I think like some works by H.P. Lovecraft. I don't remember which one in particular. I did see it in my sources, but I forgot, like completely forgot which one. But I can see how that might have influenced it. So despite all the later, you know, scientific explanations to her condition, Mercy Brown's story still remains officially unexplained. And with some people, to this day, mind you, to this day, they are claiming that they have seen her ghost or even her as a vampire walking around the cemetery where her body is laid to rest. But yeah, so I guess even to this day, she can't really. Well, she doesn't mind. I think she doesn't give a shit by now. She's like, you know what? Spread the rumors. I don't care. Like you can talk anything about me. Like I'm out of here. I don't care about this world anymore. So, sure, I can be a vampire. But yeah, that's essentially her story. You know, that's the legend. It was. I think it was obviously like modern day doctors, when they, or like specialist scientists, when they look at this case, they do say, especially about her body, like all those you know, all those things that people notice when they bury, like when they examine her body. Scientists, like modern day scientists, they explain that a lot of those were very much reasonable. Like, yeah, like her body not decomposing, yeah, because she wasn't like cold, she was basically in a freezer. Me and the girls at 3 a.m. looking for my lungs. Oh my god. You guys. What? Tomorrow I'll have a date with my SO. Let me get this tuberculosis injection real quick. Yeah. Okay, let me just go back to the office. Yeah, but okay, I have to read some of those chats because it's I'm pretty sure it's like great. Beauty is on the inside. Hers is currently all over the floor, so I read that. Lady vomiting her blood. Adorable. Oh my god, this is so that's so true. And then you know what? You know what? Do whatever. You can't exactly reattach my lungs. No, not really. Lungs, liver, heart, you know, just my heart is burning to ashes for you. Oh my god, that's just like precious. But yeah, as I said, Mercy's story is very tragic, and as I said, like like this day nowadays, the doctors do explain that yes, she, like the decomposition, considering the conditions in which her body was kept, that was very accurate. Like she did decompose a little bit, but she was kept, you know, the body was preserved. Same with the blood in her heart and lungs. Like actually scientists, like just doctors, confirmed that it's pretty normal. Like it's possible, it's normal, especially in those temperatures too. As well as the position of her body, the shifting. I guess it could be explained by post-mortem kind of jerk reaction. I don't know. Like the muscles are still kind of when they were fresh, you know. I don't know. I'm talking about Mercy like she was a piece of meat. Like, I'm sorry. She wasn't. She wasn't. She was a lovely, I'm sure she was a lovely girl. But yeah, that's about it. And thank you so much for I don't know why I'm stuttering so much today. I don't know, maybe I'm just nervous because it's like it's been a while for me to do a true crime live stream. So yeah, it might have been that, you know, it's early morning here. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in for my true crime live stream, and I hope you guys liked it. I sure did. Like I did like the story itself. It's, you know, it gave me chills at the beginning, and also it's nice to hear. It's nice to know that this is the true story that later, you know, was a source of inspiration for the Dracula novel, or, you know, the character, the Lucy. I can see so many similarities between Lucy and Mercy. So yeah, it was nice to, I never knew it was actually connected in any way. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and just so you know, I also stream on Twitch. I stream mostly games or horror talks, so if you're interested, go ahead and, you know, check my channel out on Twitch. It's the same. It's FEARSONA, so you can follow me there if you wanna just hang out with me and just talk more. Because I feel like in the during true crime live streams, I mostly like talk about the case, so I might not be reading the chat as much, but I try. So sadly, this type of story still happens in some places in the world. That is true. Like some places are very much like backwards when it comes to science and medical science, so they often just go to superstitions. Like killing is apparently bad, but lack of knowledge is, yeah, it's really dangerous. I definitely agree with that. Yeah, but thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was entertaining and it was interesting, and you can definitely look it up. You know, look the case up, find some more information, and also please go ahead and like let me know in the comments like what other cases would you like me to cover, either in my animated videos or in my live streams. Because I would love to cover some more cases that you guys are interested in, you know, like if you guys want to hear me talking about a case that you thought was interesting, then please leave it in the comments, and I'll be sure, like, I'm gonna check all of them, and I'll be sure to, you know, really consider it and give it a thought, because, you know, I need some more stories. I don't want to just cover every like popular story. I want to find something new. But yeah, that's about it. Stay safe out there. Lock your doors, and until the next time.